Good evening, all of you. Thanks for joining for today's session. So today's session basically on question and answering. So I would like to uh, welcome Chartered QS Upul Shanta sir and Chartered QS Majid Transila sir and Chartered QS Hasita Gunasekara sir for today's event. So if you have any question, you can turn on your microphone and ask us directly, or you can use this chat box. Then I will read the questions and forward those questions to Tarik QS Majid sir and Upul sir and Hasita sir. So before I start today's session, I will give you a brief introduction of Chartered QS Upul sir and Majid sir and Hasid sir. So Chartered QS Upul Shant sir has more than 20 years of experience in the construction industry, both locally and internationally. He is the former president of IQSSL. Now he's the director of uh, construction cost information services and cost management services. Chartered QS Majid Transila sir has more than 15 years of experience in construction industry. He is the procurement head and assistant general manager of International Construction Consortium. He is a member of board of IQSSL, and the Chartered QS Hasita Gunasekara sir has more than 15 years of experience in construction industry, both locally and internationally. Currently, Chartered QS Hasita Gunasekara sir working as director of ARQS Consultants and Construction Cost Information Services. So let's start today's session. If you have any question, please use chat box to forward your questions, and we will answer your questions. I know you will have a large number of questions with regards to this cubicle software and future of construction industry with building information technology. I think, yeah, now we can start today's question and answering session. If you have any question, please use the chat box. Then we can answer your questions. So, yeah, I will give you a few minutes to write your questions in the chat box. Then we will answer the question, and feel free to turn on your microphone and ask us directly. Thank you very much. I will give you a couple of minutes. Then we will start question and answering session. So again, thank you very much for your participation for today's session, and welcome you all. So we will wait for another couple of minutes, then we will start today's session. Thank you very much again. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Little bit heavy rain here, so sometimes you might not hear me, but I think everybody is very eagerly done the course.
Yes.
So since this is an online environment, you don't have to be very shy or anything. You can ask questions freely, and here not you don't have to stand up and answer questions. You can use chat box, so you can just ask questions. I think this is a great time. You should start communicating with the in the Zoom or platforms. That is sometimes everybody are a little bit shy to ask questions or get up and ask questions, but use these times to start asking questions. That's one of the great things in online environment.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your insights, sir. So please don't shy. You can use this chat box and ask us any question. Feel free to ask any question, then we will answer you. Yes, sir, we have a question. I will read this out. So what would be the future of 5D BIM in Sri Lanka and emerging job opportunities in both local and international contexts related to this platform? Uh, the student asking, what are the future benefits of this 5D BIM software, and what are the opportunities that we can gain locally and internationally after learning this software?
Um, I think, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear.
Okay. The question is, what are the benefits in Sri Lankan context and the international context of learning this software or platform? So basically, the software in this is we call it 5D BIM software, but basically the package is 3D taking of quantities. That's the basic software we have. Then as you learn for last 10 weeks, 8 weeks, it is basically have two areas. One is cost and the other part is quantification. So the what is happening today is the digitalization is coming into construction industry. When that is like when we are small, when we start learning, it is basically 2D 2D drawings. Uh, we all hand drawn 2D drawings, and then we went to the construction. Then when we pass out from the university, and after 6-7 years, that is in 1994, 96, then AutoCAD came in, 2D softwares, but we are digitizing the drawing part. Originally drawn in by hand, now change. Then we also use, those days we used BOQs, hand, using hand and calculators. Then we start using the software packages like Excel. Today there is another change is coming into 3D. So this was talking in last few years, and now it is becoming more realistic. In other countries it is using, but in Sri Lankan context it is not that very versatile and people are not using. But in other countries, everybody is using 3D software and the BIM. When it is comes to BIM, it is not only, it is a process. It is not only having a 3D model, but it is a process, because those days, unlike those days, now we find data is the most important thing. When it is data is the most important thing, what will happen is we also should learn how to manage data. Data is, in the sense, we are also doing transferring data from the 3D, 2D drawings. We transfer the data into our BOQ models and then do the estimate. So it is a kind of a data transferring. So today it is coming as a data transferring. Data transferring data is the main. So county survey should understand how to manage data, how to use the data, how to interpret data, and then do your work. So this is the first step. I guess you are now coming into the new area of new dimension of 3D modeling and 3D data. You are transferring to your original BOQ models at the moment. Maybe next few years we will see another models, not only the BOQ model, there can be another models of data coming into. So this is the beginning of how you really starting your career in the next 5 6 years time to come, because what will happen is the next environment is mainly a data driven environment where the quantity survey should start looking at how you do it through the digital environment. So what I'm seeing is what I'm telling is by learning this one, the first objective is you are introduced to the digital environment, and the next because every day the uh, industry is developing, technology is developing, digital environment is developing. When you start now, then you will learn how to deal with data, how to deal with digitalization, how to deal with the construction digitalization. Coming back to that is the basic first idea. First idea is you are learning and immerse into the data environment. That is the most important thing you are doing. The second, the question really asks the question is what are the benefits you are getting because of this environment. You will do the construction quantification and pre-contract and post-contract more efficiently. When it is more efficient and more efficient, your employability is going up because once you know one of the packages, all the other packages used in the world also similar, and you will learn very quickly all those packages. Once when it is in your CV, the employability, your employability will move more. When your employability will more, and then you will can freely move around in the construction industry, and you can be benefited individually, you can be benefited, and also as a whole industry will benefit because your efficiency also goes up. You will more efficiently do your work. That's the two things. The first one I said, you will learn how to deal with the digital data environment. That will be added advantage, and that will help you to survive in next couple of years. And the secondly, that is is you will get the benefit of employability, as well as the industry will get the benefit of increase in the efficiency. I think I have answered the question.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, sir. It is very comprehensive answer. Thank you for your great insights. So we have another question. Sir, I know obviously in Sri Lanka, it is hard to find QS jobs related to 5D beam quantity surveying, as most of the construction firms are not willing to change their traditional minds. It is better if we can do freelance QS with QB cost. It's very good question. I would like to forward this question to Chartered QS Majid Kodituaku sir, because ICC, International Construction Consortium, has been using this QB software since 2019. Chartered QS Majid Kodituaku sir has great experience with this QB software. Dear sir, he's asking about the applicability of 5D BIM softwares in Sri Lanka, and most of the student emphasizing that most of the construction professionals have traditional minds, and the students see this as a barrier. So how we can overcome these barriers? So over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Till. Again, I think I am also having same problem with it's heavy rain outside. So I hope you will receive my voice clearly. Basically, with the opportunities, if you check the opportunities, I think we are using. I think we are using QBcost from 2019. Before that, we used some other software. There are organizations who are moving to with the technology trends, and some of the organizations are still they are doing everything manually. I think still some of the organization already purchased QBcost software, and some other organization are using some other softwares. but with the time it will come. But anyway, being a quantity surveyor, if you need, if you might work in an organization, either contract or consultant, or either you might work in a as an independent quantity surveyor who will do the freelancing work. So that both options will be possible with this software. I think one of the main thing I see with the Cubicos is the traceability. You can present what you measure and you can trace what you have measured. So if you do it manually or with some other software, it will be little difficult. So if you are doing freelance, I think uh, if you can remember, some of you may remember, I think 3-4 years back, we have a several quantity surveying firm who will do the foreign jobs. So what basically we did was we will measure the quantities from the drawings and we will send them to the another either Dubai or Australia or some other country. So they are the main issue. The queries came whether you have measured this, whether you have measured this. Those are the main queries every time they ask. But with the Cubicos, you can just share your model. Either you can work within the cloud, so you can give them access to verify your model. So they don't need to raise queries whether you have measured, whether you have what the extent you measure. Those things you will not get from the other organization. The most important thing I see with the Cubicos software is the traceability. So with that, if you are practicing as independent quantity survey, that will be the most advantageous. I think there will be a huge growth we are expecting after the COVID pandemic. Not only Sri Lanka, we still we can't predict in our country, but some other countries definitely they will bounce back very strongly. At that time, there will be opportunities, especially the countries like Sri Lanka. I think right now we have been in the morning. We have been in the Philippine PAQA Congress. We realize that I think they are in the business. They are into different softwares. They are mainly part of the work we did earlier in Sri Lanka. Now they are doing in Philippines. So basically, if you compare those two countries, they are more into the softwares. So the other countries, what they are looking at the output, they also need some kind of a tool like Cubicos or Postex or kind of a tool. So if the organization using that kind of tool, they can easily present their output. I think if you take the investment, I mean the cost of the software, even if you are practicing it as freelancer, you might can distribute it among the project, and that will not be a significant cost if you compare with the normal operation cost of the organization. Earlier, the software cost is very high. Now it's becoming it's like reducing. Even what I'm saying, even you also can try your with as a freelancer, you might can purchase the software with the development. I think that now it will not be the right time, but that will in the near future, either from the overseas job or there might be the local job, that you might have opportunity. If you are working in the organization, what I did, even I was not at the top management when I am introducing some other softwares to the organization. What I show the management the benefit what we can get it from the software, and we'll start at the very small steps. When we started initially, what we did was we hired software for 2-3 months and see what we can do this and show the management what are the capabilities of the software. That will cost about per month 20,000. That will not cost when we introduce the software to the ICC. That cost per license 20,000 per month. That was how we introduced. So from there, we were able to show our management that we can do, I mean, we can do our work effectively and the efficiency will improve, traceability will improve. We can share with the other people very easily. They will know. We can reduce the queries and all. So likewise, you need to start somehow. There, you need to see the possibility, but how you can introduce the software. Don't think cost. investment cost or the software cost as a barrier. You need to work out alternative ways how you can introduce and show your management the benefit. So that's the thing. In my view, if you want to start with the queue, because even the organization are not using or your firm is not using.
Yes, it was very comprehensive answer, so thank you very much for that. We have another question. Sir, as you said, what would be the additional things we have to do get the full usage of this course? So this is very good question. So what are the things additionally we have to learn to get the full use of this course? I would like to forward this question to Chartered QS Hasita Gunasekara sir. Dear sir, the student asking what are the additional things we need to improve to have full usage of this course. Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yes, of course, obviously, first thing that you have to know is the quantity surveying knowledge. That is the most important part. Again, still you will need to have the knowledge on the measurements. I'm not saying that even we are working. I saw another question in the chat box, whether there will be a challenge from the engineers since they are involved in the payment part. So basically, yes, this is a software that everybody can study and work on. But still, to get the full use, you have to have the knowledge on the quantity surveying, basic core competencies like measurements and especially measurements, then the construction technology and preparation of POQs. These things are very important. Especially another area that you have to have is the knowledge on construction technology. Now, what you do in this BIM package related to the quantity surveying or quantity takeoff, you develop a model based on a 3D or 2D design you have given from the architects or engineers. The thing is, when you develop this into a cost model, right, into a 5D model, you need to be able to identify the components in this design. It's not only a 3D or 2D drawing. You have to visualize the arrangement. You have to visualize the elements in the drawings. Sometimes if it is a 2D drawing, you have to visualize in a 3D space how these things are built, how the column connect to the foundation, how the beam connect to the column. If you go for the just a simple structure, that won't be matter. But if you go for a complex design or steel structure, especially, you have to first study. You have to have the knowledge to visualize in a 3D space. A 2D drawing, you have to virtually, you have to develop in your mind into a 2D, 3D design. In that, you have to have the knowledge on construction technology. If you don't know how to what is the arrangement of a reinforcement in a slab, if you don't know the way that the roof elements are interconnected, you can't develop the model. If you can't develop the model, that means you will lose or you will create errors in your quantification. When we go into multi-story buildings, say 5-story, 10-story, 15-story buildings, this small error will be a huge cost or create a huge cost damage, even a small error in your model. So additionally to the knowledge on the application of the software, you have to know what is the construction technology. Then why I said the quantities measurement knowledge. Yes, of course, in the software itself, we are using certain methods of measurements which automatically adapted when you are developing the model. But in terms of reviewing your quantities, because once you've done the model, it doesn't mean that you have completed all the cost modeling or the total cost model for the project. You have to cross-check it. So when you are cross-checking it, you have to randomly check whether your measurements are correct, whether the quantities are correct. Are there any mistakes or anything missed out? So in that case, you need to have the knowledge on measurements to check. And when you are transferring the quantities taken off from the model into a BOQ, when you're using TBQ, there is a descriptions that you have to develop. So those things should cover whatever you want to convey to your other party, the contractor, maybe the client. So developing or preparation of a BOQ, knowledge on that area, also very important. In addition to that, I think the knowledge on Revit, the other 3D BIM softwares, Revit, Revit structural, MEP, maybe SketchUp, right? These knowledge are also important for you to understand to get the required model completed. And in addition to that, the programming, coding also will be a little bit advantageous if you have the knowledge on these areas, but it's not compulsory. But all these areas are required if you are going to become a expert in building information modeling.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your comprehensive answer. I think students has to consider these things, because modeling is not enough. You have to have very good knowledge in construction technology, and especially the quantity surveying. So if you don't have the knowledge regarding quantity surveying and construction technology, and if you can't read the drawing properly, so there will be no use of just learning this cubic modeling. So if you want to be an expert in this cubic modeling, you have to have comprehensive knowledge with regards to quantity surveying and general construction practice. So thank you very much for your kind answers, sir. I think now students will consider more about learning basic things before start their journey with this 5D BIM technology. We have another question. It is better if we can create database of 5D BIM quantity surveys and let us know when projects and jobs are available. Personally, I learned Revit previously, but no one is taking use of me. So this is very good question, and in order to become a BIM manager or BIM implementer, what are the competencies we have developed as a quantity surveyors? So I would like to forward this question to Chartered Quantity Surveyor Ulshan sir, because Ulshan has very good knowledge about the role of BIM manager or BIM implementer. So, sir, what are the competencies we have to build in order to become a BIM implementer or BIM manager? Because currently we don't see any BIM manager or BIM implementer in Sri Lanka. So we need to provide BIM managers or BIM implementers to local and international industries. So what is your idea? What is your insights about this?
Thank you, Telina. Just before coming into that question, I had to add a little bit to Hasita's comment. What Hasita told us is exactly the situation in the industry. More and more I hear that sometimes people say that
our designers are not giving details, then engineers are not giving details, other professionals are not giving details. Therefore, it is difficult to prepare the cost modeling and all those things. But when we hear from the other countries, I think that is the way the industry works in around the world also. But it is more and more the consultants are giving some details, maybe level of details are a little bit less, and then it moves to the contractor for a design and build, and that where the more details are coming. When that is all around the world is happening, maybe in different forms of contracts like design and build contracts, construction management contracts. So the information moving from information, those days the detailed information are moving from consultants to going back to contract, going back like those days, back to the contractor. So because of that information and detailing is not there, the role of quantity surveyor who has the knowledge in construction is very important, because without that knowledge, you cannot infuse the details into the model. Because those days, because when the details are there, when you learn in the universities or institutes, you find details are there. But when you come to industry, details are not there. Then what you have learned, the construction and all those things, is very much needed for developing the model and having an accurate costing. That's why Hasita mentioned that construction knowledge, quantity surveying knowledge, as a paramount importance for to be successful and to make a real valuable cost model for this industry. So I just added that one. Then the question posed to me is, what are the skills and competencies needed for a BIM manager and BIM specialist? Main thing is, we have seen is main area is I must say the visualization. That is that is the skill you develop, how to visualize things. Actually, the architects are the most able people to visualize things. But recently I find the quantity surveyors also, because they are working with architects, engineers, engineers, mechanical engineers, structural engineers, and the civil engineers. They are also trained to become more good visualization people. So to become a BIM manager, you need to visualize things. That is the most important part. You see the visualization. The second one is the methodical way of doing things. That is coming from the mathematical background. When you are given a task of solving a mathematical problem, what you do is you break down that one into different parts, and you start solving the problem one part by one part. If that is the equation, we will solve within the bracket what are the things. I'm just going back to the A-levels. We have solved the within the bracket part, or we will do one part, solve that one, put it into the other part of the equation. So something like that. So that methodical approach is in the BIM. That is coming from coding. Even quantity surveying is, we have a methodical approach. You were trained to a disciplined approach to come to a kind of a final measurement or something. You can use that approach, the methodical approach. You need, I am talking about the skills and the competencies, not the subjects. So that is another skill you need, a very methodical approach. That is, you can develop that approach through learning coding also. When you learn coding, you will have a very methodical approach of breaking down everything into different parts and coming into a one final product. So that is necessary for BIM managers, because when that also the BIM manager or the BIM specialist need to develop those codes, codes in the sense, not the computer coding and all those things, how the BIM to be done, how the drawing should be done, how the quantity survey, how the BIM manager should know what are the information should go to the quantity survey. He should know what are the information that should go to the structural engineer. He should know what are the information architect should give to the quantity surveyor to do the cost plan. Or what are the at what stage. So he is the one really writing all those BIM protocol or BIM protocol and the BIM standard to the project. So when to write that, you need that kind of a knowledge. What are the layers? How you should model. So in BIM, becoming a BIM manager is not really becoming a quantity surveying, BIM enable quantity surveyor. To become a BIM manager, you need to learn Revit and all the other structural engineering packages, and you have to learn Dynamo scripting also. You should be able to learn a lot of new technologies. And also, you should be able to get the concepts behind all these things. But one concept is in data, because of the how the construction data moves around. So that you should be able to get. So those are the things basically you need to get into your head for becoming a BIM. One is analytical knowledge, one is methodical working, then 3D visualization part. Then you should learn coding, you should learn modeling, you should learn, try to get you should be having the competency to get the not from the surface, but what is the deep basic principles of the data environment in the construction. Then you will become a really good BIM manager. But basically, for what you should learn for these things is basically you should learn all the BIM, most of the BIM packages. Then you should get into a BIM enabled environment from the construction company, maybe other countries, and start learning from there. So that is what I'm telling. You can become a first 5D BIM quantity survey and then move into the other part. I think that's what I can say.
Thank you very much for your kind insights, sir. So as quantity surveyors, we learn everything. So we have to have knowledge regarding MEP, then civil engineering construction and building construction and all the areas. So if you have the knowledge of these all areas, it is very easy to learn all those things with regards to building information modeling, because for civil engineering structures and building construction, we have Revit software. Then some quantity surveys involving in project programming, so we can connect MS projects and Primavera with Navisworks software and do 3D simulation. And some quantity surveys working as a MEP QSs, then they have some idea about MEP design. So we have Revit software. So it is very easy to quantity survey to learn all those things and become a BIM implementer or a BIM manager in future. So it is very valuable insight, sir. Let's move to another question. Dear sir, as the experienced professionals in the industry, what are the instruction you can give to undergraduate students when seeking their first job with the current situation on country? So this is very timely question and very good question. I would like to forward this question to Child QS Majid Kodituaku, sir. So student asking.
Tilina,
Yes.
can you give me 5 minutes? I will come back after 5 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sure. Okay, okay, sir. No, no worries, sir. I would like to forward this question to Chartered QS Hasita Gunasekara, sir. Sir, a student asking, as undergraduate students, with the current situation of the country, what are the challenges they may face when they are seeking for their first job? Over to you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Well, yes, the industry at the moment is having some issues due to this pandemic situation and the at the current market situation. The construction is little bit in a dull period. So the job security and the availability at the moment, I know compared to the 3 years back, the situation is totally different, and the requirement of the fresh quantity surveys at the moment maybe not in much as that 2.5 years back. Anyway, still we have hope that within another 3-4 months, after another 3 or 4 months, the situation will be get into a better perspective. So in that case, when you are graduating from the university or from your whatever the courses you are completing, first thing is that you should understand there are a lot of quantity surveyors entering into the industry in each year. If you take the average number of quantity surveys, fresh quantity surveys who are passing out from the various institutes, I think it's around 1,000 quantity surveys. About 1,000 quantity surveys are joining in each year into the industry. So there is a huge competition for a new quantity surveys in the market at the moment. So first thing in that competitive market, if you want to promote yourself or get a better opportunity in the industry, first thing is that you have to demonstrate that your capacity to work in a the environment, office environment, as well as the site environment. Now, it's not like in 10 years before, or maybe 10, 12 years before, when we entering into the industry, there was a lot of opportunities for quantity surveys. And the demand was very high at that point. So everybody was expecting very good remuneration, and also the remuneration at that time was very attractive. But with the new the demand and new the fresh quantity surveys enter into market, and we have a lot of institutes that create quantity surveys. With that intakes or the new addition to the industry, the demand has now getting dropped. It's not like previously, but now the demand is less, and the main thing and whatever the organization is expect from a newcomer is to work hard and work in his full capacity. If you planning to develop your career in this profession, I think first thing is, as a fresh comer to the industry, you have to have the capacity to work hard and commit in yourself to a effective and efficient output. Don't focus on the salaries first. I think I'm not taking that. I don't say that salary is the most important thing, but yes, you need to get a reasonable salary, but with that you have to produce or provide a efficient and effective service to the organization. What we have seen during last maybe 4 or 5 years, the efficiency and accuracy of the new students or the new fresh quantity surveys are decreasing rapidly compared to the older periods, because everybody is focusing on the management level, not in the technical level. Because if you are a newcomer, you have to start from the beginning and develop yourself into the higher levels. Even when you are at some point, you have to obtain your charter and get your other professional qualifications and all those things. Even when you are facing your charter, you have to have the knowledge and experience on the core competencies of quantity surveying profession. To develop these core competencies, it's not about the theoretical knowledge. I am very happy to say all these young graduates and newcomers have the excellent theoretical knowledge. There is no doubt about that. The knowledge that you have at the moment compared to us when we are starting our career, you have got good knowledge, excellent knowledge on theoretical aspects. But what is lack is the application. What you have learned, you need to know how to apply into your job. If you can apply it in an efficient way, if you can do an accurate accurate product at the end, then that is what organization expect from you. So first thing, as a fresh comer, try to develop your accuracy. Try to think that you are going to start from, you are just a new person or fresh student who is entering into the industry, so you don't know much of experience. Your first target should be to gain that experience, right? And to have goals to develop your career, right? Just enter into an organization and basically focusing on what you gain at the end of the month and just doing whatever the routine work. That won't help you to develop your career. Second thing is get additional knowledge. Yes, you know the quantity surveying, that's good. But with that, there are other knowledges that you need to obtain to develop your career. So when you are coming into the industry, seek the other areas that you need or assist for your development of your career. Like maybe if you are interested in claims, to see about the arbitration, adjudication, those additional courses. If you are interested in technical parts, you can follow BIM courses, right? Maybe if you are going into a project management, there are other courses for project management. Gather knowledge, right? But another area that I have seen is when new quantity surveys coming to the industry, they try to get everything in a very short period. Say they just start the job and they do all the courses in the industry to get qualification. But remember, those qualifications are paper qualifications. But most important thing is experience and how to handle or how to work in a organization. That is the most important thing. Teamwork, commitment, right? Social skills, managerial skills, right? These are the other important areas that you have to have when you are joining into a organization, or if you want to be success in your career. So other than the theoretical knowledge, if I summarize what I have explained at the moment, other than the theoretical knowledge which you already have, try to develop, or if you can demonstrate the application of what you have learned in an interview. If you can demonstrate your social skills, if you can demonstrate your team work or the capacities, if you can demonstrate your accuracy, I think that those are the most important things if you want to be success in the organizations and in the career itself. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Those are very valuable words. Actually, as a young, yes, sir.
few things I also had to add. When you pass out from the uni or the institute, I think one thing you should get is go into internet and find out the very good CV formats, because I have found everybody's CV format is same with the same thing, only the picture is there different and the name is different. All the other things are similar. So it didn't give us the way to look at that. Sometimes we sometimes look at 6, maybe 10, 15 CVs. So go to the internet and find out what is a good way of doing a CV. Then secondly, what we really want to look at is if you take quantity survey, there are um, uh, people who can assist, then people who can apply, then people who can advise. So that's the way of going. First, assist, like Hasita said, first assist. Then the second is application. Then the third is advice. So that's how you go through that. So assist is the main thing. Then when somebody is graduated, what we really want from him is from theoretical knowledge, how he practically apply that one. That is the one of the important thing, how you theory to practice. So if you can demonstrate, like Hasita said, if you can demonstrate at the meeting, at the interview, that you know the theory and you know how to practice, or how to at least learn to practice. That is how you demonstrate that part uh, is very valuable. Use your network to find out jobs. Then the other thing is, when we are in the university, we have a lot of things in our head. In the university life, we are very free. Nobody bothers us. So therefore, we have a lot of things in our head. So we think, okay, I will be becoming this way. I will be doing this. I will be doing that. But when you come to industry, you will realize sometimes it is not so. So when you're coming out of the uni, keep those things in the uni. You become a very fresh person when you come to the industry. What you first having, grab that one. Grab that one and develop. Then you will find what are the things you will be most interested. When the uni, we will think, even when I was in the uni, I thought I was the first one to go to Middle East. That was my whole batch knows that I am going to the Middle East. From the day one, that was, everybody knows. This is 1992. Everybody thought I will go to Middle East because I was telling I am going to the Middle East. That's it. But I couldn't go for, I think last 30 years, I couldn't go to Middle East for a work. Because you have things in your head. But when you're getting the experience, you will find different ways of things. Therefore, go to the industry, grab the first opportunity, work hard, get the experience, then you will find what is the really necessary for your life to be happy. Sometimes maybe making money, sometimes maybe doing research, sometimes maybe some other things. So maybe some people, like even myself, even today, I really love quantity surveying because I can imagine things. From the drawings, I can imagine and having a 3D imagination. And then finally, when the building is completed, I will go and see whether I have seen originally is really done. Whether I have taken the whole thing from the building. Maybe house building. You will really enjoy building a house. So grab the first opportunity, find out where you have to move forward to be happy, and then move on that line. So my thing is, like Hasita said, grab the first opportunity, be ready with the CV and the interview guidelines, grab the first opportunity, move forward. Don't afraid to be changed. You have to change with the environment, because environment is changing, everything is changing. Thank you.
Thank you for great insights. Even as a young country server, those are valuable lessons for me. So even I started my career as a 5D BIM country server. I thought that modeling is enough. If you can model, if you know Revit, if you know Navisworks, if you know cubicles and Cospex, it will be enough. No need to follow basics properly. So with the experience, I have realized that modeling and those having those technical ability is not enough. We have to go through basics and develop ourselves in order to become a better quantity survey, because our major role is the quantity survey. We have to focus on that. While you practicing, you will improve your accuracy, and if you go through various drawings, you will realize the difference of those drawings, and your knowledge will be compared. Okay, if you will have basic knowledge, basic theoretical knowledge in your university, but if you come to the practice, the difference between those theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge is vastly different. So in order to become a better quantity surveyor, as a young quantity surveyor, as a junior quantity surveyor, I feel that in order to become a better quantity surveyor, you have to focus on your basics more. So I also has done that the same mistake most quantity surveyors doing these days. So now I realize that in order to become better quantity surveyor, you have to learn basics first. You have to have a very good experience with general quantity surveying practice. Then only you can become better quantity surveyor. So thank you very much for your valuable insight, especially Chartered QS Hasita Gunasekara sir and Chartered QS Upushan sir. So I'm also very lucky because I have the consultation of both of those country surveys, because they are my directors. So with their consultations, I also like to be more improved. So thank you very much for that. Moving to the next question. So as we all know, cyber attacks happen more often in these days. What happens if one of these project designs through BIM and advanced software like cubicles get hacked and manipulated the building information, bad intention? Are there any precaution to avoid such situation? So that is very good question. So cyber security and all. So in order to having in order to protect our data, we created by using these softwares, we have to have better security system. I think Majid Transil sir has very good idea about these areas, because ICC has implemented this Cubicos software since in 2019. Now they have worked with this Cubicos software more than 2 years. I think Majid sir will explain what are the importance of having proper security system in order to protect our data, protect our building information data. So over to you, sir. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a different question. I never asked for, I mean, it's okay for some other things, but for the building information like Revit model or Cubicos model or some of the data that we are using in the cloud, we didn't have such experience being attacked by, I didn't hear anywhere, but that can be happen. Generally, even right now, I think we have discussed several times with the Cubicos guys. We are working on a cloud for the Cubicos because still our users are working in different places. Everyone joining to the Cubicos same model with the cloud. We share the model in the cloud, and everyone is working with the cloud. Even in our right now, all some of the servers, but the current working server, we are using Microsoft OneDrive or SharePoint. So you need to make sure all the security setup has been there, and there will be a method like two-stage verification process, one-time OTP passwords, and even right now we are working with OneDrive. But every time any user log into the one of our files, we do have a notification saying that particular user it's opened that file. So that kind of a verification method you need to follow. Every possible security measures you need to take when you are working with the cloud or sharing the information within this. But it seems to be a little difficult because even a hacker, it's not like direct financial data, because they will look into the direct financial data. Whether if you hack into the construction information like Revit model or something, they need to do some other things to get benefit out of it. So I don't think the hackers will more into our information, but you need to make sure that sometimes even rather than the model data, uh, if your pricing data or the norms leak into some other organization, you are in a huge trouble. Being the contractor, I don't like to share my information. Those are very confidential to my organization. So you need to make sure those kind of information will not. So there are processes to improve the security, and there are steps already taken by all those servers, all those software providers. You need to make sure, and they always frequently changing your password. Those are the steps what we are following to secure. We are currently working totally in a cloud space. Even all the works, not only the queue, because all other works are mainly right now handling, because it's very easy for us. You know, if you want to share one file with the organization or the external party, you just need to right click and share. If you are working in the different server, you need to make it to either OneDrive or either in a different cloud platform and need to share it. So sometimes you need to pay. But if you are working in a cloud platform, it's very easy. Sometimes simultaneously you can, several users can log into same file and they can do the changes within the same file. That possibilities are available with the cloud spaces. So you need to use it, and you need to make sure the security setup has been set, and all the notification and all the things should be come to the correct place. If there are any unauthorized access, and always make it a proper copy at somewhere. If you want a kind of a backup, that also will be a requirement. So those are the things what we generally does to secure ourselves.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your great insights, sir. So our next question is, as a quantity surveyor for the road and infrastructures project, we have facing difficulties to include the cut and fill quantity. Is there any methodology or way to calculate the quantity by cubical software? So it is very good question. I will answer for that. So Globe has introduced a software called TRS for civil and infrastructure work. So they have introduced this software to China and other countries, but still they haven't introduced this TRS software to Sri Lankan context. So after they have introduced this TRS software to Sri Lankan context, we will have short courses like this and teach you this TRS software. So if you go to YouTube, you can search TRS software, then you can find videos. By using TRS software, you can easily calculate cut and fill quantities. So I think I have answered your question. And other question is, there is tendency to go abroad after the education because salary ranges for quantity surveying professionals in Sri Lanka is very low compared to the other professionals such as architects, engineers, etc. What is the reason for that? So I think I would like to forward this question to Chartered QS Hasita Gunasekara sir. Sir, there is great tendency to migrate. So I think it is due to the lower salary range of quantity surveying professionals. So, what are the insights that you have regards to this? So, over to you, sir.
Well, first of all, I think that is a misconception regarding the salary is low in Sri Lanka and better in the other countries. Yes, as I said earlier, in the, I think 5-6 years back, this might be a correct reason for migrating from Sri Lanka. But at the moment, I don't think that luxury is there. For example, now I think maybe 5-10 years back, Middle East demand the quantity survey, especially for the Sri Lankan quantity surveying, there was a high demand. And with that, there are the salaries for the Sri Lankan quantity survey as well in a better level. At least the beginning of a fresh graduate in UAE and Qatar and Middle East was around 8,000 to 10,000 dirhams. That means from Sri Lankan rupees, I think 300,000. But now we have other countries producing quantity surveys for the Middle East market, especially the Middle East market, where most of the quantity surveys now working in Middle East are coming from in Philippines, India, Nigeria, and especially Philippines and Indians are already invading the market in UAE for a lower salary. So that means, and compared to their efficiency in the organizations and their hard work, even the Middle East market are now preferred to get their services because their commitment, hardworking, and efficiency is greater than our quantity service at the moment. So we don't have that demand which we experienced in early years of this early years. Therefore, I don't think there is much difference compared to the Sri Lankan market and the other countries. And the other thing is, if you are going into the countries like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, they have their own requirements when they absorb fresh graduates into the organization. So knowledge on those, their market, the construction industry, those things are important. So without that, I don't think that would be a easy, there are easy opportunities in those countries. Still, Middle East is the closest market for us, and don't expect to get the high salaries like early stages, but reasonably you can. But at the moment, considering the oil market and the world price in oil and things, UAE has a less demand for the newcomers. They are trying to employ from GCC countries at the moment because it is more convenient for them to issue visa and things. So I don't think there is a high demand for the quantity survey, so fresh quantity service there. Still, yes, to get a opportunity or experience and save money, there is a possibility. If you're going abroad, you can save money, and also you can get more experience and exposure to the construction, new construction or complex construction projects. So that is there. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your, yes, sir.
I just need to add a little thing. I think if you compare the local market salary, I think quantity surveys, it almost same. If you take the engineer or the architect, the salary architect that might be little higher because they will come as a chartered architect for the organization. So their salary might be comparatively high. But if you take the fresh graduate or fresh diploma holder engineer, most of the times quantity surveyor will take higher salary than the fresh graduate engineer. For I'm talking here with the experience as a contract organization, especially for the road project. The intake, the intake salary is either almost similar or little higher than the engineer. Very rare occasion that will be lesser than the engineer, most of the organization, because quantity survey will do kind of a significant job. If he done his job correctly, then only organization will get benefited. I mean, their profit will matter if quantity surveyor work smart and work efficiently. The organization can get some advantage, might be increase their profits. So the industry knows that well, and they will try to pick up good quantity surveyor with a good salary. The problem we see after he enter into organization, the career path may not that clear, or he might get stagnated within the same position. So he need to look after the possibility of climbing his career ladder. It's totally different to one organization to another. You need to suit to your organization and see what will be your career ladder, and you need to specially work smart. So if you work smart, the organization will realize and you will position in a next level. So what I see the problem is they will enter into the market with the same salary as engineer, but thereafter they will stuck in the same position. Sometimes they might be comfortable with their salary. They will not try to go in the career ladder. So that was the issue what I think. But generally, if you take the intake, almost the salaries are same with other professions.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your kind insight.
I would add a little bit with the experience. Of course, the countries like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, UK, GCC countries, the salaries are higher, but the expenses also higher. If you maybe you save 10,000 rupees in Sri Lanka, but you might not save anything in those countries because the housing is so expensive, electricity, water, transport, everything is so expensive. If two people in the house is not working, then it will be really difficult for you. Of course, the salaries are higher, the cost of living also similar, and the taxation system also similar. But there are ups and downs. In those countries, there is a little bit of security. You can see what's happening in the future. The education of kids and all those things are a little bit more stable. And in our country also, I lived in both worlds. So what I've seen is when you live in those developed countries, you lose something, you gain something. When you live in Sri Lanka, our country, you lose something, you gain something. Anywhere, I don't think you can get both goods. Because if you are in Sri Lanka, you should not get angry, you should be happy, you can enjoy the life, you can meet people, have a drink, little bit bend down the things here and there. You can save because tax system is not asking a lot of money from you. You can be with mom and dad, help them. Lot of things are there. But in other countries also, a lot of things are there. I have been into both. So I think it is subject to you. Where you are happy, be there. That's what I'm telling. I can't tell whether this is good, that is good. If you find where the happiness, go there and be there. But always think, not today, think at least 10-15 years down the line what will happen. because I know most of our friends, my batchmates, wife and kids are in Australia, but they are working in Middle East. Why? Because in Australia you cannot earn that much. So they went to Middle East. They are there. The kids are there. A lot of issues because your priorities will change from time to time. So be happy. That's what really what you want.
So, thank you for the life lesson. Actually, it is also very important for me as well. So it is very good life lesson. Dear, be happy. That is the most important thing. Wherever you live, it is most important thing is your happiness. Okay. Thank you for the great insight, Puzu. Let's move to the next question. Uh, so I'm in mind to do my final year research on the topic of the benefits of and barriers to implementation of 5D BIM for quantity surveying in Sri Lanka. Is it a good topic to go with? And he has another question, my final question. When we sharing the building information modeling with the architect, civil engineer and other professional, if each and every one have the access to change the model, how can we know that someone has changed this and add something? So I would like to forward the first question to Charit Subhushan sir, and because Charit Subhushan sir is working on research and development with regards to this 5D BIM technology, and now we are thinking about creating a BIM protocol for construction company. We had some meetings, and I would really like to share that insights with you because it is very timely. Because without proper BIM protocol, it is really hard to implement this building information modeling to construction project. So we have some brief discussions regarding creating a BIM protocol, and we would like to extend that with the proper research and development. And dear sir, would you like to share your insights with regards to this?
Yeah, about the research, that is a good research, timely research. You get your supervisor, and then main thing is doing research is main thing is you might not be able to change the world by using your research. Main thing is to get your objectives correct and do the research and find the new knowledge. I'm telling again, new knowledge, which is not in the books. Maybe one or two new knowledge and come to a conclusion. That is what most important. The second part is about the sharing the shared model. Everybody is doing the changes. That is like Majid said last time. It's a security issue, and then for that this BIM protocol has to be there. It is not the loose way of doing things. That's why I always told you that there should be method. It's very methodical. The BIM manager is and writes for the project. BIM manager writes the BIM protocol, where who can change, at what level the things will be shared, at how it is shared, in what format it is shared, all those things, who can change, who doesn't have the authority to change, who will validate it. Those things are in the book, the first book you get when you are doing the project. Then there's a project information also there in that one. So with that BIM protocols, the people don't have the authority to change models like that. So and it will be shown as soon as you change it. It can be seen by everybody. But this type of models at the moment not commonly used in the world. Mainly we are in the world, it is mainly BIM level 2, where the individual consultants are using in their own models. That's the way of practical way at the moment in the world. It is level 2 BIM. But you are discussing about level 3 BIM, which is not really, they are practicing in different part of the world, but they are still developing and evolving. So I think maybe another 3-4 years, those countries will move to the level 3 BIM platform where collaborative model will be used, everybody will be used, and it will be more clarity, more clear. But with the BIM protocol, most of the things, what you said is, what the question is asked, is can be tackled.
Very good answer for that particular question, and thank you very much for that. And I would like to ask Chartered QS Majid Kodituaku sir. So the student has emphasized the model sharing. So we have Cubicos Cloud to share our model with external parties. So what is your experience with this Cubicos Cloud, and how important to having a proper cloud-based system like that in order to increase the collaborativeness between stakeholders to the construction project? What do you say?
I think one of the advantage we can get, I think we are currently using Cubicos Cloud when we develop our cost model or the measurement model. Generally, what we do was we will share with our architect or the engineer to check whether we have considered them correctly, because sometimes they are still developing. The practically what was happen is architect will give us some kind of a 2D drawings with their kind of a sketches. At that time, the structural engineer might not develop their structural model, so they might give us indicative figures, the column that much, beam that much. Sometimes we can't wait until all the information coming from him, so we just take the typical details and we can model that in our Cubicos model. So sometimes what we do, we'll share our same Cubicos model with the our architect and the structural engineer, so they might can identify what are the issues with the column sizes and all until they might develop the Revit model. So we can do it very fastly. The Revit, develop a Revit model, it will take time. So what we do was we will develop our cost model very quickly, and we will share with them to see what are the issues they can identify. And other things what generally does is we will extract it to IFC file, and we can upload it to Autodesk account. And there again you can visualize and share with the external parties. That again one thing what we generally do other than the cloud sharing. So mainly we share the cloud to work with the our users, all the quantity surveyors right now, because if you want to bring if you work in your server and if you want to send it to some other quantity surveyor who might be work from home, we do have some issues with the drawings and all. So if you are working cloud, both quantity surveyors can access to the same model and do the modification. So that was the main advantages we are getting from the cloud right now.
Thank you very much for sharing your insights regarding Cubicos Cloud. And another question we have, what are the things we have to develop regarding education system in order to implement this 5D BIM in construction industry? So I would like to forward this question to Chartered QS Gunasekara. Sir, what are the changes we need to do in our education system in order to promote building information modeling or 5D BIM in our construction industry?
Well, I think, thank you. Well, I think we should not refer to 5D. 5D is only one area or one sector in the building information modeling. But in terms of the education, we have to develop the curriculum for the building information modeling itself, not only for 5D, maybe from the 3D to 7D. The 7D is the now the latest level in the building information dimension in the building information modeling. So I think there should be awareness or developing awareness among the students from in the education system. There should be an awareness and way of modules to teach this building information modeling from step to the that means from the basics to the advanced level. But I don't think that could be done, or we could cover entire build information model process in our education system. But at least for a beginner's level, we have to have a sort of a module system added to the system.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. I would like to have other questions because we want to finish this Q&A session quickly. So if you have any question, you can use this chat box, or you can turn on your microphone and ask us directly. So Majid sir, would you like to add something for that education system? What we need to develop in our education system in order to promote this BIM instrument?
I think I also agreed with Hasita, and apart from other thing, I just need to highlight, I think, as our chartered accountant, Mr. Pushanta said, the tomorrow's the main thing will be the data. You will be getting data in a different way. For example, recently we received the drawings for the canal project. We got only PDF drawings. So there we need to calculate all the data within the PDF drawings. With that, we need to calculate all the cut and fill volumes. So being the quantity survey, you need to know how to extract the data and what kind of a software you can use to calculate your requirement. So there may be a different software, maybe you might need to get with the Cubicos, or maybe Civil 3D, or maybe Revit. You need to identify the best software, and you need to again with the availability and all, and you need to know how you transfer data in between those softwares. Sometimes how to extract from the PDF and how to import it to the Civil 3D, or might be to the Cubicos or to the Excel. So being a quantity surveyor, one of the main thing you need to have a competency in dealing with the data, how to extract, how to analyze, how to present data. Those are the main thing the future quantity surveyor have to focus on. So there will be a huge data will generate from either from the drawings, or either from ERP system, or either from the Revit model or different model. So being a quantity surveyor, you need to properly manage those data, properly extract, properly analyze, properly present data. So that will be the main focus point for tomorrow's quantity surveyor in my view. So data is available everywhere, information available everywhere. To get a maximum use, you need to have that kind of a skill. So that's why sometimes to get a maximum out of it, you might need to know coding. So how to, because sometimes some works, you can't do everything from one software. So you need to switch between different software to get the correct output. So that will be a one competency for the future quantity surveyor should have, especially dealing with the data.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your valuable insight. So we have another question. Dear sir, if a scan machine can create an on-site model while the construction is going on, then if we can import it to the cubicles, then making the IPA and checking will be very easy task. Is there any possibility to do like that, sir? So I think the students referring to creating a as-built model and using that as-built model for preparation of IPA. I think now International Construction Consortium has implemented the cubicle software in their construction division as well. So, dear Marit sir, I think you can give a very good answer for this particular question. So, what is the usage of this cubicle software during the operation of the construction, during the construction process? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, one of the as I told earlier, one of the main thing with the cubicles, we can have a traceability. So the model we use for the tendering or the design, the model we use for the designing purposes or the BOQ preparation, we can use it for the tendering purposes. Sometimes the consultant quantity surveyor might share the model with the contractor quantity surveyor during the tendering process. So he might can go through the model and identify sometimes because BOQ contain quantities, but not in the same format the contractor quantity survey is required. If you share the model, the contractor quantity survey can easily extract the quantities as his requirement, because it might require for the planning and all a different way. So once the project awarded the particular contractor, same model can utilize to interim payment application. There might be changes that can be updated by the contractor quantity surveyor, and once he updated the as-built model during the IPA, so I think with the zoning and I think you might have learned with the different facilities available, the qubit cost software. So the updated model can be shared, use it for the quantity extraction of IP interim payment application. The same model can be shared with the consultant quantity surveyor. So he don't need to measure everything again and again just to verify the model, whether all the things as per the construction issue drawings. If it is so, it just to verify the model, and so they can certify quantities very easily. I mean, that will not take no time. I mean, just to extract quantities from the model, just to need to verify the model, its model or change as per the updated construction issue drawings. Because he might be familiar, because he might develop, the consultant quantity surveyor might develop the model, and the contractor quantity surveyor might improve the model. So both parties might be already most familiar with the model, only to identify the changes what has done in contractor quantity survey. So with that, I think within a day or two, the quantity part can be sorted out. So that will take might be a week or two in a traditional way. But if you are properly following the method, the consultant quantity survey can verify the quantities within a couple of minutes. So you can do your IPA process very smartly and very efficiently, and that will again benefit to consultant quantity surveyor. He might can look into other opportunities like value engineering aspects and all, because he do have a 2 weeks time now free, as well as contractor quantity surveys. Generally their time will take out of I think 70%, 75% of his time mainly it will take for the subcontractor bill, quantity takeoff, material takeoff, and interim payment application, quantity takeoff. Those are the things the majority time will consume for the contractor quantity survey work at the site. So with the cubicle software, he might can reduce the time taken for those things drastically, because the same model he need to update as per the construction issue drawings. That will not take 1 week, or I mean not that much time, might be 10 times or 20% time. So with that time, the contractor quantity surveyor also can utilize his attention to some other important activities. So that's how you need to utilize the same model during the project life cycle.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your great insight. So we have another question. Dear sir, after completion of this course, if someone like to become building information modeling or BIM modeler or BIM implementator, how can we find BIM internship related to Cubicos to prevent forget the gained knowledge and update hands-on experience related to building information modeling? I would like to forward this question to Chartered QS Suprashant sir. Sir, these students asking about how we can obtain opportunity to work further with this 5D BIM software. So I would like to ask you for insights with regards to this question.
Again, raining, so a little bit hard to hear, I guess. But the question is the first part. I had to clarify that 5D BIM is cost modeling.
Yes,
BIM
yes.
is not the cost modeling. BIM is whole process. Before 2015, I think BIM, everybody thought BIM is 3D model. But after 2015, the world is changing. So BIM is the whole process from 3D model, 4D timing, 5D cost, and then 6D and 7D maintenance. So whole series BIM. If some if I am saying quantity survey also one of the good candidate to become a BIM manager and the BIM specialist. One of the best, one of the best. All the others also. So I don't want to put into silos of quantity surveyor, engineer, architect. Out of everybody, quantity surveyor also one of the very good candidate who can become a BIM specialist. Then to become a BIM specialist, you have started 5D BIM in Sri Lanka because we in Sri Lanka it is hard to come by. That's why we also conduct in this course and try to promote 5D BIM. When you become the 5D BIM manager, BIM specialist, then that means you are in the right direction. You are starting. Then you should find in Sri Lanka, there are, I think, more than 10 projects at the moment, people using BIM. So find out a project where BIM environment is there, join with them and start doing. Or start doing it, learning, continue learning, and maybe first thing is you will learn Revit. That is the most important thing to become a BIM manager. Then you can learn 4D BIM modeling softwares. Then basically you will be learning Revit, Revit 360, and Navisworks. But basically, you will be learn most of the very important software parts in the BIM. Move it to other country, maybe Middle East or somewhere, and learn, because learning in these days is easy because there are a lot of online courses in other countries. Even the universities have offered BIM courses, standalone courses also. You can join and do complete online BIM courses. So get your experience, put it in the CV, and going into a place where BIM environment is there, then you can start your career as a BIM manager. But don't forget, quantity surveying also very good career, because if you have both environments like quantity surveyor, quantity surveying environment, and the BIM environment, there your employability will be more, where you can understand other professionals, like single professions like architects, engineering. Sometimes it is are they are little hard to understand. They cannot understand sometimes the other professionals, but quantity surveyors can understand other professionals because they learn
design appreciation, structural engineering, little bit of structural engineering, little bit of mechanical engineering, and quantity surveying and the law and all those things. So they learn everything. Therefore, it is easy to become a BIM manager and understand all those things, but you had to do a course in BIM differently, especially when the course content and the expenses can be reduced when you learn by yourself through the internet, Revit and 3D modeling softwares and the 4D modeling softwares and the 5D modeling software like Cubicos. So then you become known to the industry, known to your CV will be there, and then going into that BIM enabled environment and BIM enabled project and become a BIM manager. Going through that ladder is the most important thing. In Sri Lanka, it is little hard, but don't think that it will not come. It will come one day, but we have started like that. Things will start very fast, because one of the things people in Sri Lanka, we in Sri Lanka, concerned about the Revit cost of Revit softwares, especially architects. Maybe in future there will be another softwares from Glodon Cubicos also, maybe little related to 3D modeling. Maybe cost is not that high. People can do it, and then BIM will be available in Sri Lanka. That very fast. So
Yes, thank you for your kind insights regarding that as well. We will definitely work hard to implement these new technologies in Sri Lanka as construction cost information services. We will do our best to implement these new technologies in Sri Lanka in order to upgrade the efficiency of construction industry. So with that, I would like to if you have any question, please feel free to ask. If you don't have any question, then yeah, we have another question. So what advice can you give to new country surveyor on when to join the parties of contractor and consultants? So yeah, so thank you for that question. I would like to ask Child QS Hasita Gunasekara sir to give and brief answer for that particular question. What are the advices as an experienced quantity survey? What are the advices that you can give to young quantity survey who is entering into the industry as a contractor quantity survey or consultant quantity survey? Over to you, sir.
I think we already given an answer earlier, but what I think, okay, I will summarize what I have said earlier. First thing, as a young quantity surveyor who's entering into the industry, think of, you should have goals for you, right? Where you start in couple of years, where do you need to be, and after 5 years, where you have to, what are the things you have to complete, I mean in the professional life, and after 10 years, what is your where do you want to develop in yourself? So that is the first thing. Second thing, when you are entering into the industry, keep in your mind that you are a fresh quantity surveyor who's only having theoretical knowledge, maybe 4 or 5, 6 months training. Other than that, you are a beginner, which means that gives you an advantage, right? You will get an advantage to learn things. Now, if you are a 5 years or 6 years experienced quantity surveyor, sometimes you might not be able to ask questions from certain level of people. I'm not saying you can't ask, you have to learn, but sometimes there are problems. But as a fresh quantity surveyor, you can ask any question from anyone and they gain knowledge, right? So be humble and try to get knowledge from everybody. Don't just think I'm a quantity surveyor, I'm a graduate quantity surveyor, or I'm a I know these things, I know those things, and I should not ask from anything from the other people. Don't think about that. Think like that. Just get the knowledge, whether it's a technical officer, it can be a, security officer. You don't mind who is the person. Get the knowledge. You have to have a thirst to acquire knowledge, right? And don't just focus on quantity surveying. When you are at the beginning, a beginner, you should gather knowledge from technical side. You need to gather knowledge from engineering, architectural. Lot of people, there are lot of other professions in the industry where you can get knowledge, maybe knowledge on the accounting, maybe knowledge on drafting. Those things are also important in terms of a beginner, not only for the beginner, but also even for us. That is what we think. Third one is that your, as Mr. Pul Shanta said earlier, assist. Assist means you are providing support to your senior quantity surveys, which means that is not something you need to shame about. That is something you have to do. That is the way that you can learn, assisting and absorbing the methods, absorbing their practices, right? And absorb the correct practice. Sometimes we might have working with different quantity surveys who are coming from different sectors or areas, and there can be correct practices and there can be wrong practices. So you have to be vigilant to absorb the correct practice and follow the correct practice throughout your profession. Fourth one is hard work. So don't expect to go into a white collar job at the first opportunity. Go into a job where you can learn and train into in a future who you can reach to a white collar job. Then you will be a successful managerial quantity survey in future. So begin with hard work and gain more experience and exposure during your initial years of the professional life. Fifth one is that the thirst for gain experience and exposure. Knowledge is one thing, experience is the other thing, and exposure is the most important thing. If you are only stick into counting now light fittings or bathroom fittings and you gain good salary and increments yearly, but still you are doing the measurements, that won't give you the necessary exposure for your professional development. So you have to seek the exposure, right? And the experience. Try to get experience in all the possible areas you can grab within your job. I remember when we joined in our company in 2007, when I working in Middle East, from the preparation, taking of the quantities to printing the document and binding it, it has to be done by us. We were asked to do everything because for the total process, we get experience. We learn to take off, we learn to print it. We learn how to do the page settings, how to bind it, right? So, and other thing is we are responsible for the entire process. So that was how we were trained. And I think that is a good way of developing yourself into a professional quantity survey. Know the total process. So that can be gained only if you are engaged in these activities. Don't think that taking off quantities is your only part of your job, or that is the only in your job. If in your job description it says, okay, you are the quantity survey, you are assigning to do the take off quantities, preparation of bills, and certifying or preparing your interim payment application. Don't stick to that. Do the other supporting work and get experience, and also be a team player. You are working, you are not an individual in the organization, whether it is a construction organization or consultancy organization. You are a part of a team, right? You have to share the responsibility. If something goes wrong, that means you are a member of that team who made the mistake. So uh, don't try to avoid the responsibilities. Take the responsibilities. All these experience and senior level quantity surveys, they started from your position, right? They have made mistakes, and those mistakes made them the people or the professionals in this who are now. So don't afraid to make mistakes, but remember, as well as you are not afraid to make mistakes, and also you need to afraid the same mistake repeatedly. You don't afraid to make mistake the first time, but don't repeat it. Then that will create problems in your career. So no one will give you a responsibility if you are doing the same mistake all the time. No one will give you the responsibility. If you don't get the responsibility, you won't get experience, right? So these are the things what I feel a young quantity survey should have or learn when they are entering into the industry. Thank you.
Yes, those are very good insights, even for me actually. So yeah, as a young quantity surveyors, we have to have experience and we have to have exposure in order to build our career. So don't afraid to do mistakes, but please don't repeat those mistakes over and over again. So stick to the basics, then you can develop as a quantity surveyor. So thank you for your great insights, sir. I think we have another question. If someone busy with a lot of works, basically in another industry with having quantity surveying degree, but still have an intention to learn things, are there any chance to work and get experience, if not much worried about the salary, but for work 2 to 3 days for a week? So I think this is a statement. Yeah, so I would like to forward this question to Chartered QS Upashant sir. The question is, if someone busy with lot of works, basically in another industry with quantity surveying degree, still there is chance to work in this industry as part-time quantity surveyor. I think that is his answer, rather than work as a full-time quantity surveyor. So what is your insights with regard to this question, sir?
Yeah, I think after the pandemic, there's a lot of talk about people migrated the jobs, migrated in the sense job migration, and lot of resignation in other countries. People seek other jobs. So what we really looking at the old ways of doing things is also changing. So the people start working online more and more, and people might remotely work a lot. Therefore, the question is asking also, doing two jobs is common in other countries, not in Sri Lanka, because in Sri Lanka it is always think like there is a job and it's only job, you should do only one job. That's how you brought up everybody. And the government also says if you are working in the government, you should not work in the other country. In the labor law also says if you are working in a company, you should not work in another company. But the world has changed, and always there is opportunity for people who has skills can work in another industry, can work in two industries, and that gives more added advantages. If somebody is working in a marketing and he takes the marketing experience also into quantity surveying, that will be a great, because quantity surveyors are not really good marketeers. So things are like that. So I think the question, what I say is generally it is possible. And I think the next few years will be more crucial, and the change is coming into that working environment. And it will be more interesting. Maybe he can find out the areas of through the internet. He can get maybe a structural company somewhere in the world to do structural quantities, structural quantities for some company. People use internet to make money. So there are a lot of opportunities coming in the world. So I think always it is possibility where you can work in one industry and you can leisurely work in the other industry also. I know some people who work as electrical engineers, then work Saturdays, Sundays with another team to develop softwares. So that always happens. So quantity surveyors also no exception. If they have the skills, they can do two industries together and then finally join both industries and become great. I think it is possible.
Thank you very much for your kind insights with regards to this. So with that question, I'd like to wind up today's session. So before I conclude the session, I would like to invite Chartered QS Bhushan sir to say a little bit about our CCIS BIM Academy and what are our vision and mission in order to increase the level of understanding of building information modeling, especially the 5D building, 5D BIM among quantity surveying professions in Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Tirina. Actually, we, Hasita, myself, and with the help of Majid, we started this to improve the knowledge and as a promotion of 5D BIM in Sri Lanka, because we were waiting for last 10-15 years while the world is going very fast on new technologies. We are still not moving anywhere. So we, as a quantity surveyors, we are in the not in the first part of the process, because the process we generally follow is architects, then engineers do their designs, and then comes to the quantity survey. So when the architects and engineers, the first links, forward links are not doing anything, then we couldn't do that. But since we found a package which can, the quantity survey can do the model, so we started this course and try to, this is not only trying to improve the promote the cubicle software, but to improve the knowledge of Sri Lankan quantity surveys, because we find if we are not moving now, then what will happen is, like Hasita said, the Philippines and Nigeria and India is moving very fast to Middle East. Our quantity surveys are not will be far behind. That's why we thought of putting this into the students and also improve the efficiency in the Sri Lankan construction industry. So with those intentions, we started the course, and we will try to engage with you in near future also continuously through our Global BIM Academy and being competitions, and whenever we find something, we will share with you. I think Tilina will be doing all those communications with you. So what we want from you is go through this journey with us, and also if your companies, wherever you go, if there is anything to do with BIM, 5D BIM, promote that also. And even in the universities where you're learning, if they can get used to BIM include in the curriculums, we are very happy to help them. So I think wish you all the luck in the future from the CCIS team. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Now I would like to invite Chartered QS Hasita Gunasekara, sir, the director of CCIS, to share his insights regarding this QB Cost BIM Academy and this QB Cost short course conducted by CCIS BIM Academy. So over to you, sir.
I think most of the things Mr. Prashant is already delivered. So basically what I want to add here and to the students is that this will not be the final step of your BIM information knowledge or the road to the building information modeling. So this is the first step in your journey, and there will be areas that you have to acquire, and we are as CCIS, we will always ready to provide those stages and advance your knowledge in the build information modeling. So we will come with the next stages very soon, and you can join with us and develop your experience and knowledge in build information modeling in future. And we hope you will join with us for those courses also. Thank you.
So, thank you very much for your kind insights with regards to this 5D BIM course conducted by CCIS BIM Academy. And now I would like to invite Chartered QS Majid Rangsila sir to share his insights regarding this QB Cost 5D BIM course. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Tilla, again giving me opportunity. Basically, what we see our industry, the main thing to change is the attitude of individuals. I don't think our cost of software or the cost of knowledge will not be the barrier, because you can, I mean, it's not like 3-4 years back. You can learn anything from YouTube. You can learn anything. All the things will be there. If you use the proper internet, you can find anything. If you properly approach, you might can, the cost of software also will not be an issue. I think better you being the quantity surveyor, you might try to work, I think has the said working hard, but in our organization, what we do is working smart. So if you are doing working smart, you can do rather than doing it hard. If you are working smart, you can do with efficiency, with a little time, with usage of other tools, and you can use the things. Just doing sake of doing things, you better have a look and think what will be the most efficient way of doing things and do it accordingly. That's the way I think being the quantity surveyor you have to do. And don't worry about the cost of software. There are ways and means of getting it. I think that will not be a issue. Not, I think earlier the cost is very high, but now it's a little bit reducing, and there are different ways to acquiring of those softwares for your organization. So your duty to be a part of, be a member of the change. You need to convince your management to get those softwares and show them that you can do work more efficiently and more productively with those kind of tools. So without using those kind of tools, you may be having a disadvantage competing with the other organization, because if other organizations are using different tools with the technology, they might have advantages. So try to be a part of a change and more or less work be a smart quantity surveyor. You need to work smart, and that will help to grow your career. That's what I have to tell you.
Thank you very much for your kind insights, sir. So with this, I would like to conclude today's session. So before that, I have a very humble request you to turn on your cameras, because we want to take souvenirs. So we do this as a tradition after end of each session. So please turn on your cameras, then we will take a small screenshot as a souvenir. Okay. Yes, thank you very much. It's really nice to see you all. Okay. Thank you very much. I have took the souvenir. With this, I would like to wind up today's session. So we have had very good conversations, because with the knowledge, with these expert persons, and with the experience and with their knowledge, I think you will have learned a lot of things. So the most importantly, you have to go further with this 5D BIM technology and learn more. And I hope one day you will become better a quantity surveyor, or BIM modeler, or BIM implementer, or BIM manager in future. So thank you very much for you all to participate to this amazing event. And especially I would like to thank again Chartered QS Pushant sir, Chartered QS Hasita Gunasekara sir, and Chartered QS Majid Kodituaku sir, because they have spent their valuable time to this question and answering session. So thank you very much for your commitment, sir. So with this, I would like to conclude today's session. So thanks again for the participation. We will meet again with another course in near future. So have a good night and stay safe, and most importantly, stay happy. Okay. Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Right.